Coming up on show 655, we've got records for the Zoe and the e-Golf. Used EV values continue to rise, and the Cybertruck has been spotted, or has it? Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. In fact, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for Thursday, 28th of November. My name is Martyn Lee, and I go through every EV story I can find to try and save you time. Thank you to myev.com for being a very kind supporter of this podcast and the work that we're doing on this show to bring you EV news every single day. They're doing their bit as well to raise the tide in terms of EVs. They're connecting buyers and sellers and cars with plug sockets on at myev.com in the USA, myev.com if you are in the market. Good luck, by the way, if you are travelling any time over Thanksgiving. I've seen it described as Carmageddon. Thanksgiving, obviously not a thing that we have in this country, so it's a normal old work day for us. Next big thing will be the Christmas countdown. But if you are facing some sort of EV journey, EV road trip over Thanksgiving and holiday season, I'd love to hear about it. So, the Tesla Cybertruck has been spotted on the road. Or has it? And I'm not wearing my cynical pants today, but let me talk you through this. Just days following its high-profile unveiling, the Tesla Cybertruck, according to Teslarati, well, according to all the big EV websites, has been spotted accelerating on a public street, followed closely by what Teslarati say is a blue Model X. Particularly interesting was the fact the vehicle was captured on film in broad daylight, providing a brief, notable glimpse at how the futuristic Tesla heavyweight pickup looks compared to other vehicles on the road. Based on the video, the vehicle seems to be passing through Crenshaw Blvd, right in front of the construction of the Millenium apartment near SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. The sighting appeared to have happened in the afternoon based on the length of the shadows of the vehicles in the area, says Teslarati. I've watched this on Instagram, about 4,000 times today. Pretty much all of the reporting I've seen on this today says the Cybertruck has been spotted. A couple of the articles did question if it was real. Okay. Let me give you my cynical take on it. If the Tesla Cybertruck had been driving around California, a part of the world which has more EVs, has more Tesla fans at least, per square mile than any other bit of the planet. If the Cybertruck had indeed been out and about and driving around today, wouldn't there be more than just one very short 4-5 second clip coming off of Instagram? The video starts almost as the car is upon us, and as it drives past the window of a car, the video ends again a couple of seconds later. If I had seen the Cybertruck, I'd have let the video run, let it go into the distance, and let it just carry on filming. Of course, you would only have a 3-4 second video, because that's if it was CGI, if it was faked. If you'd had to do some deep fake trickery, you wouldn't make the video any longer than you really had to kind of get away with to make it believable. Now, look. People have done what I haven't done. They've downloaded the video from Insta, they've put it into like Premiere or something, and they've looked at it frame by frame. People that have spent much, much longer than I have on this have said today the shadows on the car match the shadows on the road from whatever was behind the person filming it. It looks like a building, pretty complex shadows, and they move across the vehicle in what looks like a very real way, being followed by a Tesla Model X. That does look very real, by the way. And actually, you know what? I've watched the video again. It could be a Model Y. The thing is, when the Cybertruck you see the Cybertruck on a public road, it just looks sci-fi. So it looks fake, even if it is real, because the whole thing is just sci-fi. And so you just don't expect to see that kind of car on a public road. But still, there is more than 50% of me thinks it's real, right? So I'm not completely dismissing it. I think 60% of me thinks it's real, 40% thinks it's too good to be true. Is it some very, very good CGI? because bits of it don't stack up for me. Like just how short the video is as well, how it cuts off at the end. Just film it driving away into the distance. You know, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I don't know. It by the time you listen to this podcast, it may have even come out as someone admitted, hey, yeah, it was me. I'm a CGI expert and I was having a laugh. It does look very, very real. There is sound on the video as well, a typical Tesla EV sound that it's making. Can't really hear the road noise of the tyres. They are big knobbly kind of tyres, aren't they? And you think, it might sound a little bit different, but that didn't really come across. What do you think? Am I just being cynical? I don't know. Oh man, I can't tell. It's super interesting. If you haven't seen it yet, link in the show notes for you to have a look. You've probably seen it already. Okay, let's move on. And Fisker have opened reservations for their Ocean electric luxury SUV. It arrives 2022, and you can order it through the website and the native mobile app, available globally on the App Store and Google Play. Reservations are set at $250 per vehicle, fully refundable, says Green Car Congress. Today, the all-electric SUV will come standard with a range of between 250 and 300 miles, depending on how you drive it, enabled by an 80 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. The Fisker Ocean is targeted to begin production at the end of 2021, with the first high-volume deliveries in 2022. Well, the Fisker app offers a flexible lease program with maintenance and repair on demand, insurance purchase for easy finance as well, and overall, customers will be introduced to a different brand experience, they say, using the mobile app platform to buy the car, which may include options for mobility like green ride-hailing, carpooling, vehicle sharing. Drivers can get behind the wheel of the Fisker Ocean SUV from $379 a month, $379 a month, with $3,000 down before delivery in 2022. Includes an activation fee, initiation fee as well. Fisker will offer a $0 drive-off option with a fully financed $3,000 down payment if you are credit approved. Well, from Henrik Fisker himself, he said this, and I quote, "Our mission is to become the #1 e-mobility service provider on Earth, featuring the world's most desirable and sustainable vehicles while shaking up the old automotive industry model. From the way a customer attains a vehicle, chooses affordable insurance, services a vehicle, to the overall mobility experience," end quote. Good luck to anyone moving into the EV space. I must admit, by the way, when you see someone like Fisker and Henrik Fisker, who's pretty good at taking to Twitter himself. He's obviously, no Elon Musk, nobody is, but he's pretty good at that. But then when someone says our mission's to become the #1 e-mobility service provider on the earth, and you think, well, again, I read that and I think, come on, I'd rather you were just realistic. But maybe there's a kind of, I don't know, cultural difference there where it's okay to be like, we're going to be #1 when you're blatantly not. So I'd rather just say, hey, we're making a really great car, we'd love you to buy it, rather than we're going to be the biggest car maker on the planet. Try and get a car out the door first would be my thought. Good luck to them as well, trying innovative new things, new ways. I think more EVs will be sitting on people's driveways with these kind of all-in-one packages, more car rental really than anything else, and you can hand the car back after a month or a few months. Okay, let's move on. And Elon Musk recently announced that Tesla is accelerating the timeline for the Model Y. People used to joke about Elon time. He would make the team hit an unachievable goal, and then by missing it very slightly, people would say it was a miss, and then he would say, yeah, but by setting a massively ambitious target and missing it slightly is better, still better than setting a realistic target many months later and hitting it. So the Model Y is the opposite of that Elon time. It's actually going to arrive before we thought. Production in the summer of 2020, not the end of 2020. And now suppliers hint that it could happen even sooner, according to an Electrek report today, who recently learned that Tesla is working on a 5th assembly line at the Fremont factory as the automaker's preparing for the production of the Model Y. But now a report from Taiwan about several Tesla suppliers, and they claim that Tesla's requested they expedite shipments of parts. These are specifically Model Y parts, and they want them shipped in the current quarter. United Daily News of Taiwan reported, and this is a Chinese translation, recently Tesla has been successively notified that it requires advanced preparation for Model Y mass production, which is about 6 months earlier than original schedule, end quote. It seems clear that Tesla is planning to start low-volume production soon, sometime in Q1 2020, before the end of March next year. Low-volume production begins. You'll see more of them on the roads as they start doing testing and tooling and all those kind of things, and then volume production, possibly volume production sometime in 2020, could even be late summer 2020. Now, originally, deliveries were going to be early 2021, so to speed that up, it'd be amazing for anyone who is waiting for their Model Y. If you are selling an EV, what price do you put on it? And could you possibly put on a higher price than you paid for it? Demand for EVs is seeing used values increasing. According to new analysis by Car Gurus, while petrol and diesel models have depreciated between Jan 2017 and this month, EVs have seen appreciating values. According to Chris Lilly at Next Green Car, looking at the four most searched for electric models on the company's website, BMW's i3, Nissan's Leaf, Renault's Zoe and Tesla's Model S, prices either rose or remained level for many months at a time. In most cases, they outperformed the most searched for petrol and diesel equivalents over exactly the same period. The average asking price for a 2015 Renault Zoe actually went up 18% between January 17 and November 2019. The price went from an average of 6,425 to 7,612. And my personal experience can indeed bear that out. We bought a 66 plate Renault Zoe last year, and then once we decided that actually we do need the bigger battery, we thought we'll go for the smaller battery one and it'll be fine, we'll pootle around town, it'll be okay, but then we love driving it so much, we thought, we need the bigger battery one. Then it was time to get the bigger battery one, and you always think you're going to take a hit on a used car. It turned out that we're able to sell the car for slightly more than we actually paid for it, and that is a delight, because we bought the car from our local Renault dealer, who, lovely people, didn't really make any effort to sell an EV. Like I say, they're very charming, very lovely, but really didn't engage in the process. Didn't even ask how we're going to charge it until we were walking off the lot. Anyway, not that I wanted any kind of, nannying treatment, but if I'd been someone who wasn't into EVs, then they'll have to care at some point. And so we actually, in the end, wasn't much, it was a tiny amount, but when does that ever happen? When does it ever happen? When do you ever make money on a used car? We didn't own it for a year before we were like, you know what, we do need the bigger battery. We certainly didn't make 18% on it, but that is what some Renault Zoes have been doing, because everybody wants an EV at the moment. To compare as well, the Ford Fiesta, which is a similar sized car, went down by 22% over the same period, average price of 9,165 to 7,160. The BMW i3 values have increased as well, based on a 2014 example. And the equivalent petrol or diesel mini hatchback fell by 14%. BMW i3 went up, both since the start of this year. The 2015 Nissan Leaf did see a drop in value of 9% over this time period, but an equivalent VW Golf that runs on petrol or diesel would have dropped 17%. It makes sense, Rodney. Buy yourself an EV. Let's talk about Volkswagen's e-Golf. Not the ID3. That's coming next summer. No, this is the Golf electric that you can buy right now, and plenty of people are. Before the ID3 was even unveiled in September, Volkswagen announced that it had received more than 30,000 pre-orders of the ID3. Its predecessor, the e-Golf, that was a good old Golf retrofitted, stuffed all the batteries in under the seats wherever they could, didn't have nearly as splashy of a launch, but it did hit a milestone of its own 100,000 e-Golfs. According to Autoblog, they say e-Golf production at the Dresden plant is on pace to set a new record in 2019, as VW believes it'll see an output of more than 16,000 vehicles built. In total, roughly 30,000 e-Golfs delivered to customers up until now this year, up from 25,000 deliveries in the whole of 2018. And finishing off with another little story about the Renault Zoe. On 25th of November, 3 days ago, at 3:10 p.m, very specifically, it was 3:10, that a pearl black Renault Zoe, new one, not making the old ones anymore, the new one, it rolled off the production line at the Flins-sur-Seine plant, and there was a loud round of applause. Why? It was the 200,000th Zoe to be built on that site since production of the very first gen Renault Zoe began back in 2012, that was. For the special occasion, the buyer was there. He was a Dutch buyer and the director of Renault that sold the vehicle, both invited to the area. Jean-Luc Mabir is the plant director, handed over the keys to the new Zoe owner. Since the summer, actually, they shut down the factory to give it a spruce up, lick of paint, a bit of retooling for the new Zoe. They opened it again in July, I believe, making only the new Renault Zoes. They've made over 15,000 of them so far since they retooled, and that's been delivering to 25 countries in Europe. I believe UK is early next year. I was told. Pricing was online this week, by the way. If I didn't mention it, I did, didn't I? My mind is going. I did mention that, yeah. Pricing went online for the UK, and as we discussed as well, we definitely talked about how the battery lease option is no longer there, but that is because the monthly payments are so low due to the resale value of the car. The depreciation is much less than other cars of the equivalent. Right, let's talk about question of the week this week, set by myev.com. With a very controversial and frankly botched Cybertruck launch is now the most Googled ever search term in Tesla's history. But do you think by going viral way into the mainstream media, do you think it helped or hindered the movement to EVs in general? Let me know your thoughts and I'll read out your email on Sunday. You can email me hello@evnewsdaily.com. You can leave a comment if you want to on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you to 249 patrons of the podcast. My premium partners are Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, and Avid Technology, and new names to add to the list very soon. Yay! And if you want to get any of the old shows, there are 654 of those online. The new ones come at you first and free and automatically if you're a subscriber. Have a wonderful day. Catch you soon. Remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.